Bad boys, cops roll into town.
And we try and figure out whether this stop was all for show.
News 12 at 11 in high definition starts now.
Good evening, I'm Ryan Houston.
And I'm Christy Etheridge. Thanks for joining us late tonight. Dispatch says one person was shot on Macaulay Street just hours ago.
It happened around 8:35 at night. No word on injuries. As of right now, we'll update you online and later on News 12 this morning.
Now imagine getting pulled over and an officer approaching your car, followed by a TV crew.
Now we can all guess what comes next. It's the famous show Cops, and it's been in Augusta for a few weeks now. The sheriff's office is not saying whether this stop here was filmed for the show, but there's already talk that Richmond County might be doing a little extra for camera crews.
As News 12's Patrick Price reports, one driver says his run-in with the law was all for TV drama.
Blue lights.
In that area, I had already noticed that several others had been stopped.
And rolling cameras.
There are men with cameras behind me.
A traffic stop anything but ordinary to this man who wants us to call him Hagen.
I wondered, why do I see, cameras and what's going on with this? So I asked him, and he didn't give me any information.
After Richmond County deputies pulled Hagen over, they made him aware of a broken taillight and dark tinting on his windows.
After he had checked everyone's identification, he asked us, could he search our vehicle? And I told him no.
Hagen then said deputies made a call in for drug dogs. They ordered he and his friends out of the car.
We were searched twice by both officers. When one of my companions asked why we were being searched for the second time, Officer Swint's response was to satisfy his urge.
Hagen videotaped the whole traffic stop.
I don't know that guy's name, but I want to make sure I get as many faces as possible.
After he posted it on his Facebook page.
I'm trying to figure out still why I've been stopped by officers. I saw a need that, someone needs to be aware of what the Richmond County Sheriff's Department is doing.
With a little over 550 likes and more than 500 shares, it's got Hagen thinking twice about the law.
I'm finding it more and more difficult to differentiate between who are the criminals and who's the police in this city.
And with cops filming in Augusta for a few more weeks, he's wanting to know, are deputies doing it for the show?
To go through this amount of measures simply because the cameras are rolling, it leaves me to question, what are you doing when the cameras are not on?
Now Hagen says he plans to file a formal complaint with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office on his traffic stop. We are still waiting to receive the contract between the Richmond County Sheriff's Office and the Cops TV show. Live in the newsroom, Patrick Price, News 12.
All right, we'll be waiting on that contract. Thanks, Patrick.
And let's head over to weather now with Matt.
Matt, we're hearing Karen is dying down. Is that the case?
Yeah, Karen's pretty much out of the picture as of now as far as tropical storm. Tropical depression category, however, her remnants are still carrying eastward. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. 87 degrees for the high today, plenty of heat in Augusta. And I hope you enjoyed it because temperatures at the moment taking a tumble. In fact, 70 degrees for right now, and they're going to continue to drop off. Believe it or not, this will be your high or around your high coming up in just a few days. So much cooler air is on the way for the CSRA. Right now, satellite radar combination over the two-state region pulling these storms into more of a northeast type movement. Most of the heavier stuff is staying off toward the west, and that'll leave us mainly dry for the night. We're going to see a few showers building in as we move over to the Doppler Max radar. Really off toward the western portions of the counties, Wilkes, Tullifer, Hancock County, all getting in the mix. These storms are going to clip much of the area and build toward the actual east in the overnight hours tonight. However, we're not expecting any kind of widespread flooding or any kind of strong to severe weather for tonight. For tomorrow morning, 68 degrees as temperatures stabilize. AM showers on the way to work. Make sure you drop your kids off to school. Probably not going to want to throw them out in the rain tomorrow. Might be kind of heavy at times. Scattered showers throughout the afternoon tomorrow. 76 degrees for your noontime temperature and 79 by 5 p.m. with much colder weather in the forecast. We'll talk about how cold coming up in just a few moments. Christy?
All right, thank you, Matt. A 20-year-old man is recovering after crashing his four-wheeler on Storm Branch Road. Aiken County Sheriff's Office says the man has no serious injuries. The ATV was the only vehicle involved after crashing into a street sign. And another four-wheeler incident, this one out of Saluda. One minor is in the hospital after South Carolina Highway Patrol says 5 people were riding and attempting to switch drivers while the ATV was in motion. The minor was flown to Palmetto Health Richmond Hospital with injuries.
2 people are in the hospital after a 4-vehicle crash involving 2 motorcycles. Now, this was on Augusta Road and Pine Street in Beach Island. Dispatch says someone was pinned underneath a motorcycle at one point. South Carolina Highway Patrol is investigating the accident. And a child is still in the hospital tonight after being hit by a car. Officers say 10-year-old Jamario Sanders was dropped off in the middle lane of a busy street and was attempting to cross Meadowbrook Drive when he was hit.
News 12's George Lopez went back to the scene and talked to neighbors who are still trying to understand why someone would let a child cross the street alone.
Traffic on Meadowbrook Drive moves slowly as deputies try to put together how a 10-year-old was hit by a car at night. But during the day, traffic picks up speed and drivers quickly forget the close call a young boy had the night before.
I think we do need to have a little more often monitoring of the speed.
Officers say Jamario Sanders was dropped off in the middle lane of this street last night and was trying to cross the street when he was hit. Lonnie Owens says he still doesn't understand why someone would let a child cross a busy street alone. He won't even let his oldest grandchild, who's 16, do that.
I'll stop my vehicle in the proper lane and put my emergency flashers on so the kids can exit straight to the curb, not using the center lane where they can be hit by oncoming traffic from both ways.
The driver that hit the child will not be given a ticket and is not at fault, which is something one neighbor agrees with.
And if the child had dark clothing on, sure, it wouldn't be the driver's fault that hit the child because the parents shouldn't have had the kid out there.
Investigators still have not released the name or relationship the child had with the person who dropped him off. But as Owens watches his grandkids play, he says it's crazy to think how a little extra time could have prevented this.
A matter of 10 seconds or less to pull into the driveway and then let the kids get out of the car and they could pull back out into the flow of traffic.
Deputies have confirmed the driver that dropped off that child was given a ticket but won't release the charges until tomorrow. And as far as the 10-year-old's health, officials at GRU Hospital say he's in critical condition. In the newsroom, George Lopez, News 12.
Fairfax police say a 5-year-old boy nearly drowned in the bathtub Saturday. Police say the father left his son in the tub, then noticed the child floating when he returned. The boy was flown by helicopter to Georgia Regents Medical Center. No charges have been filed. The child is in critical condition. And a local doctor is dead after pulling out in front of another car on Washington Road yesterday. The Columbia County coroner says Dr. Samuel Harvey was pulling out of the Circle K on Woodbridge Drive onto Washington Road when he was hit. According to officials, Harvey's wife and 13-year-old were at Disney World when it happened. Harvey was the driver at fault. The other driver will not be charged.
2 local membership-only stores are lifting requirements for military. From now until the shutdown ends, Costco and Sam's Club are offering shopping passes for military members and their families. A military ID is all you need. Commissaries are closed for now, and military families in Augusta are taking advantage of the benefits.
I can come in and see what's available and make the most of the money that we actually do have to make it stretch a little bit farther.
No numbers yet from Sam's Club or Costco on how much of the military community has taken advantage of these benefits, but dozens of families were coming in when News 12 was out there yesterday.
Jefferson County found the escaped inmate from Friday. Officers say Rodney Maxim was picked up last night by the Fugitive Task Force in Savannah around 6 Saturday night. Maxim should be in Louisville by now. He will be charged with escaping. Authorities say he could be facing an additional 10-year sentence.
Columbia County deputies arrested a New York police officer and U.S. Army reservist. Richard Llewellyn is charged with aggravated battery after they say he got aggressive with his girlfriend. The incident report says he choked her, bit her, and screamed, "I've got nothing." Her roommates eventually got him off of her.
Augusta commissioners plan to evaluate their key department heads this week. City Administrator Fred Russell has only been evaluated once in 10 years, and City Attorney Andrew McKenzie, well, he hasn't been evaluated at all. Commissioner Alvin Mason says this is not being done to single anyone out, but make sure everybody on the payroll is meeting benchmarks and progressing.
Many who live in the Cherry Tree housing complex need to find a new home before demolition starts next year. The 100 Black Women of Augusta want to help make that process smoother. The group is hosting Saturday classes, and the women say pamphlets may help, but talking about the process of moving out loud is much more helpful. One woman says her worry of being sent to the Salvation Army shelter with her 7 kids was laid to rest, along with the fear of being homeless because she learned her voucher will work somewhere.
I came here to get the resource, and they gave me a lot of good things that I needed.
30 people showed up to Saturday's meeting, but hundreds of families still need to be relocated. We have the numbers of some resources for the folks out in Cherry Tree. Just go to our website, WRDW.com, and search for Cherry Tree Crossing.
Furloughed workers at least have some money ahead of them. We'll tell you more about it right after this.
And be sure to keep up with us even when we are not on the air. We're talking about yesterday's color run on Facebook right now. Just search WRDW News 12.
Well, weather-wise, we have a cold front on the way. That means we're going to have a cloudy and rainy pattern to start the week, but a sunny and mild pattern to finish the week. All the details coming up after the break. Stay with us.